Most Uber and Lyft drivers, they're stuck around $17 an hour. Now I've been testing these two apps so they can help us earn smarter, Solo and Gridwise. Now Solo builds you a schedule and even promises a pay guarantee. Gridwise, it tracks your earnings, your miles, and demand so you can see which shifts are actually worth repeating. Now I ran both apps on my own rides this past week, driving mostly Uber XL and Uber Black. So in this video, I'm going to show you what Solo really does, what Gridwise really does, and which one actually makes more sense for different types of drivers. Uber and Lyft, they already show us basic earnings. What they don't show us is when we should be online, where we should position ourselves in the city, how much mileage we're burning for those dollars, and which days and hours are actually performing best. That's why apps like Solo and Gridwise exist. They're both trying to help us earn smarter, but they're solving the problem in totally different ways. Let's start with Solo. Solo is a gig work planning app. The whole idea is this: it looks at past earnings in your market, it tells you when to work, and it predicts what you should earn each hour. On the job screen, it's going to look like this: Lyft 1 to 2 p.m. $16.33. It's going to be marked as average. Then you got Uber 2 to 3 p.m. says $17.20, and then it's going to be marked above average, and then so on throughout the day. Solo is basically saying if you work these hours in this zone on these apps, you should land somewhere around $16 to $21 an hour. When you add these blocks to your schedule, you might see something like scheduled earnings for today, $153.51. So that's Solo's picture of a good day for an average driver in your city. Solo also tracks your income and your mileage, which is helpful for taxes and for seeing everything in one place. So Solo is planning your schedule around expected earnings and using a credit-based guarantee to keep you from falling below what an average hour should pay, if you're willing to follow the rules. In some cities and coverage zones, Solo also offers a pay guarantee. To use it, you're going to schedule specific hours on a specific app. You're going to use credits attached to your plan to guarantee those hours. You drive one app during that block, stay inside Solo's coverage zone, and you keep Solo running in the background so it can track your shift. If you earn less than what Solo predicted and you followed all the rules, well, Solo pays you the difference. The important part is this though: that guarantee is tied to credits inside Solo's system. It's built around average level earnings and not trying to push you to the top of what's possible. It's protecting a floor like $16 to $21 an hour, not helping you chase $40 to $50 an hour. Now let's talk about Gridwise. Gridwise, it's a rideshare intelligence app. It's less about promoting a specific payout and more about showing you what's really happening in your driving business so you can make better decisions. Here's what Gridwise shows for my week from May 11th to May 17th. $830.36. That's in earnings total. Then it's about 16 hours online with about 543.3 miles driven and then 16 trips completed. Down in the efficiency section, it breaks that down to about $49.18 per hour, around $1.53 per mile, and $51.90 per trip, roughly one trip per hour. Now by the day it shows, Monday I made like $115. Tuesday I didn't work. Wednesday I made about $29. Thursday made $169. Then Friday made $113. Now Saturday it shows $298.33, but that also includes a private ride that I was able to add in there. Then Sunday, $104.10. So instead of just telling me you made $830 this week, Gridwise is saying you averaged about $49 an hour. You made around $52 per trip, and you got about $1.53 for every mile you drove. That's the kind of information that lets me see which days and shifts are really pulling my average up. On top of that, Gridwise adds airport activity, events, and other demand data. Now with all that data, it helps when are the best times to drive. It helps me know when I should start my shift, and it shows me which patterns are worth repeating. Gridwise is about understanding your rideshare at work, your earnings, your mileage, demand, and performance, so you can keep adjusting and driving smarter. Here's how those two approaches played out for me in real life. Solo had my afternoon and evening laid out for those $16 to $21 an hour in those blocks, adding up to about $153.51 in scheduled earnings if I stayed in Jacksonville and if I drove the way Solo expected. At the same time, I got an Uber XL ride, a reserve ride, paid out $72, did about 46 miles, roughly 1 hour from Jacksonville to downtown Gainesville. If I followed Solo's plan, I'd stay in that coverage zone, work that whole block, protecting a guarantee that was $16, $21 an hour. If I took the reserve, I'd make $72 in about an hour, ended up in a new market where I could grab more rides and maybe pick up a private black car client. I took the reserve, and the second I did that, I left Solo's coverage zone. I wasn't on that scheduled hours anymore, and any pay guarantee tied to those blocks basically stopped applying. But for my business, driving XL, driving Uber Black, and trying to build private work, that decision doesn't make sense. Gridwise, well, they track the whole story. That $72 trip, the extra earnings that I pulled in afterwards, and how that week shook at about $49 an hour, $51.90 per trip, and about $1.53 a mile. Here's how I'd break it down for different kinds of drivers. Solo fits you best if you drive mostly UberX and regular Lyft, if you stay in one city and you don't move around a ton, and if you like having a set schedule and predictable expectations. Solo's going to give you a plan of when to work, expected earnings based on your city's average, and in supported markets, a pay guarantee that keeps a bad hour from being a disaster, as long as you use credits and you follow the rules. If you're hovering around average earnings and you just want to protect that floor, Solo can help you feel more secure. Now, Gridwise fits best if you want to beat that average, not just match it. If you multi-app, if you drive XL or even Black, and you're open to longer trips in different areas, and you care about your earnings per hour, per trip, and per mile. Gridwise is going to give you a clear picture of your total earnings, your total hours, your total miles, and the total number of trips. It's going to give you efficiency stats like that $49.18 per hour, that $1.53 per mile, and that $51.90 per trip. And it gives you that demand data that helps you decide when and where to drive. Instead of protecting that $17-ish an hour, it helps you understand what pushing your numbers up so that you can repeat those same moves. So after testing both, here's my honest verdict. Solo is useful if you're newer and you mostly drive UberX and you want structure and a safety net around average earnings. And you're okay with one app in one zone and trading flexibility for a guarantee. Gridwise is better if you want insight and flexibility so you can keep improving. It shows you the truth about your earnings, your time, and your miles, and it helps you find those shifts and those patterns that actually grow your income. For me, driving XL and Black and chasing bigger opportunities, Solo's guarantee doesn't really help. It's built around average earnings and paid in credits, so it doesn't even match how I really make money.